I'm Wesley Morris, and this is Cannonball. Today, listen, I love a good horror movie, but it's gotta be done right. I have needs. Don't be trying to jump scare me for no reason. I do not consent. Don't be goosing me with your scares, with sound effects, because your camera and your script don't have the goods. What I like in a horror movie, what I need, isn't blood or evisceration, although the quality I do need could involve geysers of gore. But I need a very specific feeling. And blood is not a feeling. You know what is a feeling though? Dread. Basically, how afraid am I that this movie is gonna show me something terrible, and how long do I have to wait to find out what it is? That is what I love in a good horror movie, but you don't need to be watching a horror movie to experience that. So I brought my friend Eric Hynes in to try to think through the pleasures of dread. Eric's the director of film curation and programming at the Jacob Burns Film Center in Pleasantville, New York. That's about an hour away from where we're sitting right now in New York City. Here's my conversation with Eric. Eric!
Wesley.
You came back to Cannonball.
Of course.
You're crazy! Welcome back.
It's so good to be back.
Okay, so I had this idea. Well, no, I didn't have this idea. This was not my idea. I don't want to talk about horror movies, but it's Halloween. So we're going to check the box that basically says Halloween, scary movies.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess we should talk a little bit about like what they are and like how we feel about them.
Sure.
Which is how, Eric. I mean, because I know in my experience, you've avoided them. Not as a qualitative judgment, but as a constitutional situation.
I mean, I've seen my fair share of
course.
Horror. I have to, and I enjoy also. My thing is just I'm such a visual person that when horrific images are shown to me, I experience them as if they're real and they don't go away.
Uh-huh.
And so I have to be just mindful of that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to necessarily like just have, let's just fuck it. Let's just watch everything and see everything. And then I just walk around like this. It's not quite safe to do that, really.
Right.
You know, so I'm just very aware of like what the impression of certain images have on me. Which is why I've always been kind of a little bit cautious because of it, because I just know how powerful it is. I mean, to me, this is a recommendation for how successful great horror films can be, is they can make you feel these things as if they were real.
I wanted to sort of think through whatever it is about any movie that, you know, typically can be found in a horror movie that I love about watching these things. And it is dread, the anticipation of what is going to happen because a movie is telling you that something will. Not the marketing department, not the posters, but the movie, the world of the movie itself is saying something out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to show you, but we're not going to tell you when. But eventually it's going to come out and get you. So, do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. But it makes me want to also just briefly talk about dread in relation to suspense, which I think is different.
We got to make the distinction.
Let's make the distinction.
Let's do it.
Say Hitchcock is like the master of suspense, or that's the sort of name he was given. But I think suspense is basically something where you actually know exactly what's going to happen.
Yes.
You know the thing that is in the next room. You're being shown. And so it's about we're suspending time for a moment before the thing that you know is going to happen is going to happen.
Yes.
Whereas dread is much more kind of existential. It's much more kind of like something.
Something.
I don't know what it is, but something.
And I think that the confusion of those two experiences, because they're related, right?
Mm-hmm, totally.
Like, you know, suspense is you have the information. Dread is you don't.
Mm-hmm.
You are either... You as a moviegoer are piecing together what is happening, or you are watching somebody figure out what is happening because you have a little more information than they do, but you don't have everything.
Right.
And then with a good version of this, the movie is kind of fucking with you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to change your relationship to the real world. You have had an experience that felt really real to you, or what's even crazier is when a movie confirms a fear or a curiosity that you've had with the worst case scenario. Like, I'm wondering, is there a movie you saw that when it was over, you could no longer function in the real world in the same way with an experience that relates to something you saw in the movie?
That's a great question. I mean, I feel like, for me, as a young child, I was exposed to things I shouldn't have been exposed to, as we all
weren't we?
are.
I mean,
But I'm just old enough to be too old for the first wave of PG-13. So I was in the audience for the PG presentation of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and the PG presentation of Poltergeist and Gremlins and all of these.
Okay.
So I saw them, and there are things like, I think in the Poltergeist scene with the boy and the tree outside the window.
Oh my God! It's just a tree.
It's just a tree. No,
And then-
but it's a monster. So anything like that.
I wouldn't sleep near a window that had a tree. I mean, I had no choice a lot of times, but I didn't sleep.
I had this thing where, like, for years, when I went to bed, I had to have all of my body covered by the sheets. Because if there was anything exposed, it was somehow, like, vulnerable to attack.
To somebody
to
coming in.
some attack.
Where did you get that from?
It must have been something like this. It must have been something like Poltergeist or some other scene in a film that I don't even remember. But this idea that because what it comes down to is vulnerability.
All right, so I will offer you another formative childhood movie-going experience with respect to these to our dread concerns.
Yeah.
And it is basically, it's one that I think a lot of people have when they see it early enough, and it's The Shining.
Yeah.
And it's like the figuring out what is going on in this movie. There is a kid involved, and I think there's something about children being involved in a lot of ways. I mean, a lot of these movies aren't told from the point of view of a child, but they involve children. The dread is about what is happening to this kid and his mother in this giant house.
Well, there's something so fundamental about it, right? You're stuck in a house. You're cooped up. It's winter. It's like there's so many things you can relate to. Like there's a blizzard and school's canceled and you're trapped in a house with your parents. And maybe you love your parents. And also probably in some way you fear your parents also. Your parents probably are adulting and may seem crazy at times. And to be trapped in a house with them can be terrifying.
Yeah,
so there's something about The Shining
yes.
that I feel like taps into that.
When you tell it from Danny's point of view, like the way you just did, I'm like, oh, wow. That's what that movie's about?
Well, it's partly.
Right. No, I mean, I love that. Anyway, that's me.
Yeah.
I had a hard time I went to a school where the buildings were pretty much like the Overlook Hotel. And there's a lot of time to be in big buildings alone. And I just thought, well, clearly something's coming down these steps at some point.
Which is amazing about horror, right? Because horror, it's basically he's identifying that spaces like that can feel haunted and spooky.
Yes.
Putting it into a film in an incredibly effective way, and then you seeing it, and then going into your high school and feeling the thing that you saw in the film.
Yes.
But the film comes from the original place of just these are haunted spaces.
Yeah, and I think the ways in which a lot of these movies can haunt space, like the domestic space, your house, your car, the woods, right? Classically the woods, right? But I mean that is a different configuration of the violation of what I would describe as neutral or innocent space. But wait, can you be a kid again? And
You're gonna keep us in the woods, aren't you?
No, I'm asking you if there's something. I'm talking about the woods. It's just like a classically scary place to be. But like, do you have a thing
Yeah.
that you saw
Yeah.
that just like messed you up?
Yeah.
Like maybe even to this day.
Yeah. So, oh man, I don't even remember that. So I was on a sleepover. I don't even
Okay.
remember which friend it was. 80s Staten Island. And it was a sleepover, but it was one of those things where there was like my kids my age on a sleepover. And then there was like the brothers, or the brother and his friends who was like 3 or 4 years older.
Okay.
And this is early VCR time. So of course we're all going to hang out and watch movies. And the TV was being controlled by the kids who were a little bit older. And they were watching some like low rent horror movie on the VCR. And I was like terrified of everything at that age. Like I'm not looking to see anything. But there I was at a sleepover. I didn't want to be the kid who was going to go hide in the corner. I'm going to sit there and hang out.
Did you want to seem cool, or are you just
not like a wimp, not like a wuss. Like I needed to just be there. So, but I also didn't know what I'm going to see, which is the sense of like, what am I about to watch? This looks.
Yes.
And honestly, the fact that it was so low rent was so scary to me. Because that feeling early on, at least for people my age, in terms of watching things on the VCR that seemed low rent,
yes,
you almost immediately thought it was real.
Okay.
Like maybe this happened to somebody because it looked like just a videotape. Anyway, and it was basically guys on a sleepover, camped out at a campsite, and then some Sasquatch figure comes in and grabs the sleeping bag and swings it over his head.
Is this Night of the Demon?
I have no.
Is
Wesley,
Night of the Demon?
I don't want to know.
Okay. Okay.
But maybe, I don't know. Anyway, so then he lets go of the sleeping bag, and the sleeping bag then just lands on just a big twig, and he's fully impaled on the big.
No.
So he becomes like this like hot dog sausage on like a thing. And like honestly, I don't think I ever zipped up a sleeping bag for the rest of my life as a child. Because if you're going to be in a sleeping bag, you are then you are trapped, and a big Sasquatch is going to come around and throw your sleeping bag onto a stick.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one because that's very personal.
Same movie. Also, again, there was 2 scenes I saw, and I saw about 3 minutes worth of movie. Guy goes to pee in the woods. And Sasquatch takes care of him mid-pee.
Oh, no.
Which is another
such an
fundamental fear.
Such an 80s thing to do. Like, the boogeymen were such assholes.
They were assholes.
That,
I know. For no reason.
Freddy was explicitly an asshole.
I'll see you in hell. Tell him Freddy sent you.
But those movies were really effective, right? Like, Nightmare on Elm Street, like, I mean, the dread is kind of built into the premise.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot fall asleep.
Exactly.
Lest you spend some time with Freddy Krueger, who will definitely kill you.
Which is a fantastic conceit.
Yes.
It's so good.
Yes. That's a great point. All right. So I think I had this thought, which is like a way to kind of think through what dread in horror movies is doing. We could do that work by just watching some moments in horror movies.
Fantastic.
And you picked some and I picked some. I'll go first. I'm just going to go straight for like a mega classic.
Great.
It's Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, hell yeah.
So the reason I picked this movie is because I think it is a masterpiece of what we are talking about. Where the entire movie is built toward answering this question of what the hell is going on with this pregnancy. And it checks so many boxes of what we're talking about with respect to dread and horror, because the horror here, it takes the entire movie to declare itself, right? There's a sequence to just sort of set it all up. A couple moves in to a New York apartment. Yada, yada, yada. She's pregnant. And we encounter the pregnancy. The consummation happens in a dream sequence. Now, in the dream sequence, we have seen the devil. We have seen a creature. It's a terrifying sequence of events, but you can kind of just be like, I don't know. This seems like a dream. Except at some point, Rosemary's like, she's in the bed and there are people sort of around her. And she's like, this is not a dream.
This is no dream. This is really happening.
But anyway, it doesn't matter. Because the thing I want to talk about is the way this movie is building to her understanding that whatever is going on in her body is not right. Something is wrong. Are her neighbors up to something? Is her husband in on it? And to me, the moment where I was like, oh, Lord, I guess we're just going to have to find out where this is going, is the moment she makes the phone call to an actor who mysteriously was injured so that her husband, Guy, could have this big part and his career starts to take off. And she's like, I wonder if that man going blind is connected to my pregnancy. So she calls him. And it really, really matters that the person taking this call is Tony Curtis. Let's just watch.
Let's go.
This is Rosemary's Baby, Roman Polanski, 1968. So she's got this witchcraft book. She's just really doing some reading about like the things you need. So what she reads is that the tip here, the tip off, is that you, in order to cast these spells, you need a possession of somebody else's in order to get them under your control or to like cause this bad thing to happen.
Yeah. Is this Donald Baumgart?
That's right.
So she calls the actor.
This is Rosemary Woodhouse.
And Mia Farrow is so good in this sequence because
I want to
My
know.
God.
it's her worst fear. Tony Curtis is also great on the phone call.
Rose of uniform.
I wanted to know how you are, if there's been any improvement.
Well, bless your heart.
So good. She's so afraid. She's so afraid to find out this is true.
Do you think he stole it?
I have to hang up now. I just wanted to know if there'd been any improvement.
No. No, there isn't. It was nice of you to call by.
Eric, I hate to cry every time you come here, but I honestly think that this is just like your worst nightmare, which is the man you love has possibly sold not his soul, not even yours, your unborn baby, the whole baby, including the baby's soul, to the worst neighbors of all time. These two Satanists next door. And I think that like some of the dread here, I think I'm obviously not alone. And this is one of the greatest horror movies ever made.
Yeah.
And definitely maybe I think the best movie about dread ever made because you're completely aligned in, I mean, you know, Rosemary's dread is your dread. And you don't want what is happening to be true.
Yeah.
Right? She doesn't want it to be true. And in that scene, there's no other way that what she thinks is happening is not the thing that's happening.
Yeah. To me, this is like, I mean, just one of the great films, period. But why it's so foundational, I think, is that it does what I really want from these films is to feel as much affinity and familiarity as I possibly can for as long as possible. And I feel like what this gets is that 95% of what she's experiencing
It's
is
just regular.
is relatable to people who are pregnant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then it happens to be at the very end, no, actually, you have a demon seed, you know. But until then, like, this is pregnancy.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's incredible because you're basically being forced to see it through the lens of what's kind of horrifying and dreadful about it.
Yes. It's that is deep. Okay, you brought some movies. What are we starting with?
I guess we'll do Trouble Every Day. There is something kind of very common in horror films, right? And we also were talking about, I don't think we talked about it, but Halloween and Friday the 13th, these types of films were
Slasher movies.
Slasher films were often it's about young people having sex.
Horny young folks who have to suffer for their horniness.
Yes.
Yes.
And there's kind of just an implicit punishment there that's coming. It's coming for you. If you indulge in the flesh, the pleasures of the flesh, this is coming for you. And I think about Claire Denis' Trouble Every Day.
No question.
And so in 2001, she tiptoed into horror, or maybe she just splashed
jumped
down
that's
into horror.
Talk about a cannonball.
Yes.
She tucked those knees.
And this is an incredibly bloody film, but I think it does something on this topic in terms of desire and sexual fulfillment, and does something different with it. But the premise of the film, though, is that there are these characters who there's been some lab experiment gone awry. You know, it's actually kind of amazing how, like, Spider-Man, the plot of this is. It doesn't play that way.
She gets away with it because it doesn't feel like that's what's happening.
And Beatrice Dahl and Vincent Gallo are, I mean, objectively for 2001, extremely hot people, and for Gallo, unfortunately hot, but like very 2001 moment.
Yes.
And they have some condition, and their condition involves intimacy in some way. And with Gallo, he's married, he has a new wife, and they're very much in love. And then he refuses, or he just can't have sex. And you think there's an impotency issue, which is so interesting. Like, you think it's impotency. It's not impotency.
You think it's a regular problem, but instead.
It's not. Beatrice Dahl, however, is kind of just looking for it. She's actually looking to indulge in whatever her condition is. And there's a young man. She's been kind of penned up, and a young man just comes into her orbit. And he's so into her because she's super hot and has to have her. And basically tears down a fence to get at her. And then they wind up in a bed. And we're going to watch that scene.
I barely remember what is about to happen, but I remember the scene.
So you have a sense of dread, but you also have a sense of wanting this. This is sexy.
Should say that Beatrice Dahl has one of the great mouths in movies. One of the just like great teeth, great mouth, and just hunger in her face. Like,
yes.
She wants something, and she's just biting. Eric, I actually am scared, and I have seen this movie. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, no, Beatrice, no!
So basically
that poor
eats him.
Guy.
But what's amazing also, and we don't have to keep going, but this goes on for 3 more minutes, and he's still got a little breath left after she's basically devoured parts of him, and then she has an orgasm.
I forgot about that. That is some powerful shit. Like, so, I mean, if anything is scary to you about this, like, what is it?
Well, to me, it's vulnerability. It's always vulnerability. In some ways, you're vulnerable. And to me, when you are submitting yourself sexually, right? You're submitting yourself to another person to do something to your body.
A stranger.
The stranger. Which is kind of the nature of so many sexual encounters, and sexual encounters that might be just some of the greatest ones you'll ever have. You are very vulnerable. And this is what happens in this scene. Like, this is basically, and it's not like a traditional horror film where you're getting punished for being vulnerable.
No.
It's just like, this could happen.
Yes.
Anything could happen.
But anything can happen. But fortunately for me, that never did.
But what's interesting is that you see this and you don't go, I'm never going to have sex again. Because it's actually also attractive and appealing, and you get it. But it's just like, this could happen.
But this is kind of like the shower sequence in Psycho, right? It's not like you're never gonna take another shower.
Yeah.
It's that you're always gonna be like, who is anybody? I will check. After I saw Psycho, I wouldn't close the curtain.
Right.
I, to my mother's great consternation, would leave a wet floor because I just did not want to deal with. She's like, it's just me. I'm like, but Mom, you could come in here and be somebody else. Like, that's the thing. It's just your awareness is heightened in this new way. Okay, so
what do you got?
I don't know where my next thing goes in the kind of real world way of thinking about how dread operates. I just know that this movie is the first movie I have seen recently in a long time that has hit all of the dread pleasure centers for me. Like, this movie is almost entirely a dreadgasm. And I think it's Weapons, which, came out this summer.
Yep.
I think it's a pretty good movie. It's very good. I enjoyed it. Did it work for you?
It mostly worked for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is the ending a problem for you?
The ending, sure. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
You can
but I really want to hear you talk about this and get into
Disclosure
this
issues.
because
All
then I
right.
want to get into it. Yeah.
So this is a movie whose premise is a classroom full of kids have disappeared one day. We, the moviegoers, have privileged information, which is that the kids have awakened at, 2:17 in the morning. They have all left their beds and have run somewhere almost in unison. And the movie's question is, and the question for the parents of these kids is like, where did they go? And why did they go where they went? And so the movie,
And why is there only one left? And
why is there a single kid left
of that one class?
Of that class,
And what's the deal with this teacher?
She's a wonderful school teacher, but she's also a drunk.
Yeah.
And she's a drunk determined to do the work that the police department does not seem, in her eyes, to be capable of or interested in doing.
Mm-hmm.
So she's kind of taken matters into her own hands. She's going to find out what's going on. And so she gets in her car one night, she dumps a bunch of alcohol in her 7-Eleven soda container, her big gulp, and she parks her car outside the house of the remaining boy in class. And the movie, the director is Zach Kreger, and he gives you a long shot of the car and the house across the street. The car is in the foreground, the house is looming in the background, and it's nighttime. Here we go. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. She passed out. So your sense of dread kicks in, and I think motion and silence are really important to this feeling.
Mm-hmm.
The camera has panned from in the car across the street to the house.
Mm-hmm.
And the camera's sitting there watching this house. All we're hearing is crickets. Then a door opens. And out of the door comes this character who is walking kind of like sidling arms up, scissors in hand, and is just kind of walking out of the front door across the street. This is still a long shot.
Mm-hmm.
And so she has to travel the distance from the back of the frame to the front of the frame to the car where Julia Garner is passed out. And I don't know about you, but when I saw this movie, I assumed that this creature was going to use the scissors to just like stab her in the eye.
Sure.
Hack her up to death. I'm like, oh, we got a Janet Leigh situation on our hands.
Well, and first off, basically since we're looking basically past the car to the door and she
Right.
comes towards us, go to the driver's side and like smash through the window
Right,
or
something,
open the door or
something.
something. But instead she goes around and in, violating the space, which is so terrifying.
much scarier.
Yeah.
I was like, well, ma'am, I wish you had just like broken the window and stabbed her. That I can handle. But no. This thing that just left the house, crossed the street, walked up to the car, proceeds to just stick the scissors into the frame and snip some of Julia Garner's hair. I'm like, okay. I don't know where we are, but where's my seatbelt? I'm in the passenger seat. I'm fastening it. I think I might actually have reached for a seatbelt, Eric. Like the camera's in the passenger seat. I'm strapping in. I mean, that's Weapons.
No, it's fantastic.
But I actually wanted to think about this experience beyond like a sort of conventional dictionary definition of a horror movie. I think horror can happen in all kinds of places, and so can dread.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to start this by reading something you wrote in thinking about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre
Oh, yeah.
from 1974. One of the great horror movies. Mm-hmm. One of the great dread experiences. In part, that movie is one of the great dread experiences because you spend a lot of the movie just being afraid of the chainsaw doing its business, but you don't see a lot of death. Mm-hmm. You experience its atmosphere more than you experience the act of murder in this film. But I want to read you something that you wrote. I'm going to get my glasses. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre reveals, and I can't believe I'm saying this, how satisfying cinematic death is. It reveals this indirectly because death hardly occurs in the film. What occurs is death suspended, death delayed, which is frustratingly, terrifyingly unsatisfying. Most slasher films fetishize shots of piercings or beheadings or obliteratings that describe a gory, though instant end. With the conclusion of each death, another sequence begins in which another live person heads toward an end, and on from there. The intensity lies in the intense imagery, which is immediate and leavened as it is by the narrative's renewal, oddly satisfying. Now, you are talking about slasher movies and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is, a paradigmatic slasher film. But I think that experience of fearing death is, you can find that lots of places. And just the fear of not knowing what shape it's going to take, whether it's actually going to happen. I just feel like that is such a potent feeling that you can find other places. And I just sort of want to talk about like what dread is doing when it leaves the realm of the conventional horror movie.
Well, I mean, like I was saying before, that I feel like the dread kind of feeds on vulnerability. And what is more vulnerable than being a human being who's going to die? And we could die at any moment. We could die tomorrow. We could die 10 years from now. But the not knowing, knowing,
the is this going to be itness of it
that's defining of our entire existence. So yes, that can happen in a horror film, but it can and probably should happen in a lot of different contexts also, which is what you're referring to.
Yeah, and I think, I have made a list. I've got this list of movies that I made, like what are some films that capture this feeling? I will offer you one. Uncut Gems by the Safdie brothers.
You have your kids, a dog, okay? And we'll start with that, all right? The dog. I will sit you down and I will torture that animal beyond recognition. And for good measures, I will spray him, paint him, whatever I got to do. I will douse him in the slowest burning chemical I can find and light him on fire.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
I'm not even crazy about that movie, but the thing that I am crazy about with Uncut Gems is how terrified I am that Adam Sandler is going to die.
Sure.
I mean, I feel like I know what's going to happen, and I spend the entire movie just like, how is this man going to not live anymore? And it's the worst death.
And it's also like the film is not making any effort to make you think that he's a great guy who doesn't deserve it.
Right. And yet
but you still fear it.
You still fear it.
Which I think is wwonderful, because it's not like you're, oh my God, Gandhi's going to get it at the end. No, it's just like this horrible, this like trickster, cheat in every possible way. But still, you do not want to see this guy's demise.
You don't want to see anybody die, period.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, the movie is about this man. He is the protagonist of this film, and you just don't want to see him die. Is there you're listening to me talk, what's coming up?
Well, I think just hearing you talk just that made me think of one of your favorite films, Piano Teacher.
Sorry. Can't believe I didn't write that one down. And Michael Haneke is the king of dread.
He's the king of dread, yes.
Okay, this is a movie about a woman, an older woman who has a very torrid sexual affair with a younger man.
Yeah.
She's a musician. He's her student. Things go south from there.
And I think I've told you this, like it's the only film I've ever fainted watching.
Yeah.
And yet that was not like I think of this as being one of my great viewing experiences
Oh,
because
me
I was
too. Me
engaged
too.
in that way. I was so physically engaged and so physically sympathetic to what I was watching and terrified. Really, the sense of dread is I don't know where this is going to end. I don't know where her satisfaction is going to lead us to, like what's going to satisfy her, what's going to sort of resolve this, and I'm so terrified about what that's going to be.
Isabelle Huppert is the star of this movie, and I think I'm just curious, like, do you remember the moment where you passed out?
Oh yeah. Female circumcision,
Oh,
self-circumcision.
yes.
scene. Yeah.
So in her,
It's hard to even say that,
Yes.
but yes, this is what happens. in the film.
in her lowest moment,
Yeah.
she mutilates herself.
Yeah.
But then for me, the dread, which is building the entire movie, because once it's clear that she's snapped, right? You're desperate to know or to not know how she's going to avenge herself, essentially.
Yeah.
And what is that going to look like? And this movie has such a great ending.
Mhm.
And it's so thrilling and terrifying and scary and kind of weirdly funny for how ballsy it is.
Mhm.
And the whole time you're headed there, I'm like, I don't want to go. But I do.
Yeah.
I will say, as we wind this conversation down, that there was one period in American movie making that really understood what dread was as an emotion. Like what love was to the 50s, what heroism was to an aspect of the 40s, what fun was to the 30s, dread is to the 70s. And there's no sustained period of at least American movie making where that is the predominant emotion, where every single movie, even the musicals and the comedies, just, you couldn't go to them and not be like, oh my God, what is Blackula about to do? What is going on here? Like, I mean, the columns come alive in The Wiz.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
The rules don't apply.
Nothing makes any sense.
Anything can happen.
The president doesn't have to obey the law. They're lying to us about this war.
You can just show up and shoot people and nothing
There's
changes.
just murder everywhere. New York is on
Yeah.
fire. It's just like everything, nothing makes any sense anymore. And that sense of chaos, lawlessness, I mean, to some extent, hopelessness that it could be better, all in the movies.
Yes.
So horror movies, not an essential part of the 1970s, but they are obviously there. The paradigmatic ones are being made during this period.
Sure.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, The Omen,
Exorcist, which we mentioned.
The Exorcist, real dread-oriented experience. Then there is just like that layer below those that's just, schlock all day long
Sure.
with meaning, right? Revenge thrillers, monster movies, disaster films.
There's also kind of elevated horror stuff there too, like Don't Look Now,
Yes,
And,
yes. Nicholas Rogue's Don't Look Now.
Invasion of Body Snatchers,
great.
Philip Kaufman's. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that to me is like one of the peaks of this 70s dread.
Yes.
But I'm going to identify one sequence in just a like paranoia thriller that to me is the epitome of dread because you didn't think the movie had it in it. And it's Francis Ford Coppola's The Conversation from 1974. Gene Hackman, in a great Gene Hackman performance, goes snooping around. But he's also a surveillance expert who's been hired to basically record this couple's private conversations. But he is haunted and compelled because he's gone through to the other side. And his dread is now ours as he's inspecting these rooms. Let's go. All right. So he's making his way through this room. And he encounters the bathroom in one of these rooms.
Yeah.
And the first thing we see is a toilet.
See,
You
the
don't
thing
think...
is, I've seen the film and now I have a different level of dread because I know what's about to happen. But yes.
Yeah, I mean, sure, of course you do. But you're like, okay, that's a toilet. It's like they've left, this is
It's
old
the seal.
school.
It's got the seal.
Right, the seal's on it, so it's fine. We don't have to worry about that. He's like having a little psycho moment where he's like, takes a deep breath before he touches the shower curtain and pulls it back, hoping there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God it's empty.
Yep.
Woo!
Yep.
Nothing in the shower. No Janet Leigh. No Glenn Close. We're good. We're good. I'm going to, like, Coppola is making you think about Psycho as he fondles
Absolutely.
the drain.
Yeah.
And he's looking he's just staring at the drain, like having a Psycho memory. I don't know what.
And do you want him to find something or not? Which is always the question.
Well, this
in
is the
these
thing.
scenes.
Like, do we, like, go home, Harry?
Yeah.
Get out of there, Harry.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
You did it. You saw
Don't-
everything.
Oh, don't do it. You've seen enough. Just go back. Harry, go back to your room. Go back to your room. Oh, he lifts the toilet seat. But there's
Okay, nothing in
We're
there.
Good. We're good. And then, great dread moment. The score kicks in.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, this rush of blood just starts coming out of the toilet. Ah! And Gene Hackman doesn't scream like I did. He just was like, what's going on? And it just floods the bathroom. And he just backs away, and there's like a little tissue or something in the back.
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
to this day, Eric Hynes, I live in dread of an overflowing toilet. I really live in dread of it.
Yeah.
I don't because of this movie. And I think the power of that movie is that it wasn't about any of those things, right? I mean, the blood, one can extrapolate. It does involve the case, right? Like it is connected to the plot.
Mm-hmm.
But in that moment, it just feels like a manifestation of this man's situation.
Right.
Right. It is a state of mind thing.
And it's not even something that this is the answer. Like, what does
Right.
this
It doesn't even
mean?
tell you anything.
It doesn't tell you
Right,
anything.
Right.
Which is very, as you're saying, like the 70s being the time for this kind of like free floating dread, is there's plenty of things to dread. There's plenty of things that could happen. It also just is in the air.
Right.
It's just how you feel.
And the toilet.
And the toilet. It's in the toilet. It's in your belly. Yeah.
So we gotta really go. But two things.
Yeah.
Thing number one is, we're living in a moment where you would think that we'd be having all kinds of dread in our movies. Like this is the time. But we're not there yet. And I'm wondering if you think the dread from that previous era been replaced with something else. That you can identify in at least the horror, right? 3 of our biggest movies this year, The Conjuring 4, Weapons, and Sinners.
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, I don't think we're there yet. Where we're going to get, I don't know. Part of me feels like that maybe this is why I've been fixated on this in some of my examples here, is whether we're in a metaphorical moment or whether we're beyond metaphor. Like, are we beyond the sense of comparison? Are we in some place now where a metaphor feels like we're wasting our time? We're entertaining ourselves. Or, do we need what's the language that we're going to use to articulate? One of the things that I love about Sinners is that Sinners finds, I think, its own language to basically approach something that is very much something we're living within, which is generational trauma, and finding a narrative that can contain it in some way.
Yep.
And that's not something I'd seen before, certainly not seen before articulated in a genre capacity like that. So that's exciting. But I just feel like there's something about, I don't know where our perspective is going to land. What's going to be the perspective? What's going to be the language that's going to sort of speak to what we are living through right now, that's going to feel right, that's going to somehow like unearth something that's going to make us understand our feeling better than we do now. I don't know. I don't think we've actually gotten there yet. And I do really, really wonder what in a visual sense can actually approach a moment that we're beyond cynical. We're beyond understanding that everything we thought we were as a country, we are as a culture, has been kind of just detonated. And now there's some other thing. Is it just cynicism to the millionth degree? Is it hyper sincerity? Is it, and in particular in this level, what's going to capture this level of like, I don't know what the future holds. What is the future going to look like? How do we articulate that?
I don't know.
You don't think you've seen anything like that?
No, but I think that there's something about what these horror movies are doing that does feel like it's pointing somewhere, right?
Right.
All right, real quick, we got to go. Top 3 horror movies. Top 3 scary movies. We'll even just we'll let you off the hook a little bit. If you had to just pick 3.
I mean, Texas Chainsaw, which you mentioned before. The Shining.
Yeah.
That's boring, but yeah.
No, it works every time.
Oh, a third.
Well, I'm going to do mine.
I'm going to think of my third. You
You
go.
can think of a third. Demon Lover Diary.
Oh, wow.
From 1980, 1981.
Yeah.
Truly one of the scariest movies I've ever
yeah.
seen because it's your first found footage situation.
Yeah.
Or at least, we in the audience are led to believe this is a found footage horror movie. I believed it. But at some point, the line gets really blurry.
Jeff just decided that in honor of shooting a feature film, he's got to have some clean clothes.
I believed it. Demon Lover Diary, if you can find it, scare yourself. Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, come on.
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
I mean, stop it. And then I would say just I want to say that we've not talked about Jordan Peele at all. The third movie I'd say is Nope. And specifically for the purposes of this conversation, the chimp sequences.
Oh my God.
Which are some of the most dreadful movie watching I have encountered. Because, it's very smartly from the point of view of a child, those sequences, and you don't know what that monkey is going to do.
And why is it there?
Why is it there?
Why is this even in the movie?
Why?
And I love it. I think it's incredible. I'll never forget it for the rest of my life, but it works that well.
Yeah.
Because what is it doing?
What is it doing? What is it doing? Well, what it's doing to me is freaking me out. Every time I think about that, I get a chill.
I'm going to say The Thing.
Clear.
A movie that delivers every time because you just can't believe that all this camaraderie is going to go terribly, terribly south.
I know.
All right, Eric.
Wesley.
We did it.
We did it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wesley, so much. So
All right.
So much fun.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.